How much power can we add with just bolt-on parts?
We've got all the parts we need to make a massive power gain on our Subaru, and they're all parts you could fit on your driveway. We needed to fit all these parts in a day so we could get the car mapped, but it all went horribly wrong.
Oh yeah, go clean yourself up, because that's an actual cut.
We're trying to beat a supercar with £15,000, and horsepower is the last piece of the puzzle. We're here at Wayside Performance to get a baseline before we then measure it once we've added all our parts and a map. But it's also the first time we've seen the wrap since leaving it outside.
Yeah.
And there are parts that are very bad.
There's some particularly obvious bad bits. That's fine.
Let's get it in there. We were just discussing what number we actually want from this.
Yeah.
I was saying I hope it starts with a 2, and you said the opposite.
Yeah, I think, well, the thing is the times we've set have been with this power. So if it turns out that someone's remapped this car without us knowing and it's running 260 horsepower, that's worse.
Bad news,
because the gains we can make are going to be much less. I think it's going to be like 210, something like that, 215.
Oh, please don't blow up. Please don't blow up. I don't like it! The Subaru's run was done, and it was good news, I think. Oh no! Did you see the number? 196!
No, this is good. Think of all the gains we can make.
Yeah, but what if something's broken? So 220 stock, it came out as our baseline at 196 horsepower.
With our baseline figure set, we headed to Richards to fit our shiny new parts.
To the workshop.
Yeah, to Richards.
Let's look at what we've got. Our Splash the Cash parts are a set of 750cc injectors, a new high-flow fuel pump, a 3-port boost solenoid, and a remap. The only middle-of-the-road part we've gone for is a set of new spark plugs. And our bargain basement parts are a panel air filter and a full 3-inch exhaust. The first thing we had to do was choose who was fitting what.
I'm going to give these parts to Richard.
The smallest parts, but the biggest aggro to fit. How hard
Because
can
it's
it
a
be?
boxer engine and it's a bore lake, the injectors are obviously, normally, it's all up here and you remove bits and then it's there, but it's down under all these parts.
Oh, we'll do the most difficult bit. The air filter.
The air filter, okay.
This is a hard job. There are at least 4 clips.
Right, go, go, go.
Richard got to work getting access to the spark plugs and injectors, while I got started on the fuel pump.
Why is everything so difficult? I can't do anything on this bloody car. This is literally the first hurdle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cats
There's
in
loads of cats in there. Lots of cat. It's full of, it's full of cat. Oh, secret toolbox has come out. What's it going to be?
What have you got over there?
Secret.
Oh.
Richard had removed one bank of spark plugs, so I made a start on getting to the injectors.
So spark plugs, we've already kind of got access to them. So Richard's already removed the coil packs. So we've basically got access to those. And now we're freeing up everything to get to the injectors, because so like right now we have to remove top mount intercooler, that needs to come off, so the filler neck needs to come off, this comes out, the airbox has come out, so it's not like a straightforward job like it is on other cars.
I thought I was making good progress, until I wasn't.
Have you completed any jobs yet, lads?
Yes,
I've had a donut.
I've eaten a donut, and next job I've completed is to break something.
Yes.
What have you broken?
The oil filler neck.
Seriously?
Yes.
Well,
It's only a filler neck.
I'll add to our jobs list.
Fix broken neck. Normally not an easy task. Get the glue.
The fuel pump was in and we were making progress on the injectors and the spark plugs.
These two slacking, I've ticked off 2 jobs now. Boom.
Unfortunately, the bracket of death was getting in our way.
Bracket of death.
Bracket of death.
Why is it called that?
I think it's just a ball light to
It's
get
a
off.
ball light to get off.
There is no bracket
Must be
of death.
this. But that's just onto the bracket, I think. It's not what the bracket's onto.
Right, I've actually seen a fuel injector for the first time today.
Well, I think once you've got that out, it's like,
Oh, just easy.
yeah, easy
it's
peasy.
just-
Yeah. 3 to 4 hour job. We're basically finished.
Richard managed to remove one bracket of death, which meant I could start fitting 2 of the new injectors.
Is that what you use?
Well, yeah.
What's that?
One old injector.
We got it out.
Yeah,
Well done, sir.
I know. What a job. Look at that. I don't know what size these original ones are, but it doesn't matter because these are big. Where's my lube?
Lube.
Lube. It's actually called lube. It's super lube.
Lubed up? Mm-hmm. What flavour is that? Strawberry?
My faith.
There's a good reason we fitted these injectors and a bigger high-flow fuel pump. When the car is remapped, we'll be cranking up the boost to suck more air in. For this car to make the power we want it to, the air-fuel mixture needs to be spot on. So these injectors and new pump will mean we can flow much more fuel.
Update-ish. Richard has removed that. That is the aircon pump, which has always been useless because the belt was never attached to it. So that, is it heavy? Yep. That puts it like, what, 900 kilos? I think we're in a good place. So we've done, the injectors are in now. So now we're on a putting things back together job. You're about to do these two spark plugs.
Half the spark plugs are done. I'm about to do the other half. And then exhaust. We're looking okay for time.
Yeah. So
the exhaust will go on in one big lump, I think.
I carried on with the last two spark plugs while Richard and Will fitted the new boost solenoid.
On boost solenoid. Now what?
Can you explain to the viewers and me
I can't. I'm afraid I can't.
Tell us what you think it does.
I know what it does, but I can't explain why or how it does it. It gives you more.
This part is quite crucial to making good power. The extra port over the standard part means it interrupts the signal between the turbo and the wastegate. This will really help when we have the car mapped later, as it allows for a more precise control over the delivery of boost.
And I was a bit confused about one of Richard's methods.
You just dunk that in your tea?
No, it's hot water.
Going dry.
It's not.
Yes.
Dip it in the tea.
It's not very hot anymore, I'm afraid.
So the update is we've got spark plugs in, injectors in, boost solenoid in as well, and now we're working on the bits we'll need to from the top to do the exhaust. So the heat shield is mounted, and that's in the way to get the exhaust off the back of the turbo. So we're doing that now, and then it will need to go up to get the exhaust off, which is similar to what we did when we did the clutch. It's 3:30 p.m. So I was stressed that today we wouldn't get all of this done. And it turns out Will was right.
Well, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
It's not been started, so.
With all that done, it meant we could finally get to the fun bit.
Oh, it's two-hander.
Oh.
Treat yourself.
Hell. That was the hardest reach around I've ever had. Well, well, well.
Let's get the rusty boy off and the noisy boy on. So we should explain, this is the new exhaust. Show them, pick it up.
So look at the difference in girth.
What's that, 2.5? This is 3-inch?
This is, yeah, 2.25, 2.5. This is a 3-inch all the way from the turbo.
So you get more flow out of the engine, more air in with the new filter, more fuel in, and then also more boost pressure. So the whole way through the system, we're allowing for more power. So that means we can go to the map, which is essentially telling the ECU, you've got more boost, add more fuel, and more horsepowers.
Move it that way a bit.
Oh, yes.
No. Up. Down.
Hell. A hernia.
Oh, he's done it! Unbelievable.
While removing part of the exhaust, Callum got a bit too overconfident.
He's done it.
It turns out that we got way too ahead of ourselves with our cheap exhaust. It looked great, but the fit was absolutely awful.
The 280 pounds is starting to show its worth.
Yeah.
It's an exhaust. But for what? Now. That's right, mental that is.
Would this even go flush against that?
No, probably not. See what it looks like at the top. We're probably going to end up chopping that bracket off and welding something else on.
No, but I don't think it actually fits.
So we've had a bit of an issue with what's replacing that part of the exhaust, basically, so the new downpipe. Basically, we put it on and it looks like it's not even meant for that car, for this car.
And the pipe doesn't go where the pipe is supposed to go.
Just want to see it on.
This is a shocking fit. It just doesn't fit, basically. Don't bother doing it up anymore.
Oh dear. Bad news.
Look on the bright side.
What?
It's shiny.
Doesn't fit on the car.
We'll have to cut this and probably rotate it and tack it. We'll have to drop it back off, probably cut the down pipe there, probably cut that bracket off because that's doing all to make a new one of those. Get the top part on, get that bracket on, get this the angle we want it, and then we'll work back from there.
The exhaust was proving to be a huge headache. We called it a day so we could carry on the next morning.
Just before we get going on the exhaust, I need to tell you about today's sponsor, Quadlock. As you know, we've completely stripped the interior of the Subaru, and that means when you're driving it, you've got nowhere to put your phone. It's great for performance, but not for practicality. Now, Quadlock's cases and mounts have made this way easier when we're driving on the road. It means your phone stays really secure while driving, and it even charges the phone. Now, I liked it so much in the Subaru that I use this vent mount in my Golf every day. Now, I'm about to go to Richard's workshop so I can use my Maps app and my phone stays charged and secure and visible when I'm driving. Now, every car is different, so you're going to want to put your phone in different places. You can have an adhesive mount that sticks to the dash, and in the Subaru we have an adhesive suction mount that sticks to the windscreen, so it's really on there. Now, there's a single stage lock that keeps your phone connected to the mount really securely, or there's a new mag range that gives you a thinner case and faster wireless charging. Now, you can check out Quadlock's full range with the link in the description below. Now, if you use code DRIVENMedia, you'll get an extra 10% off at checkout. Now, let's go get this new shiny exhaust back on the Subaru.
Okay, so it's the next day. Richard has already been at the exhaust already, and that may take a while.
Richard had cut and rewelded the downpipe so that it actually fit. However, the uppipe section of the exhaust was our next issue.
We got given this pipe as part of the exhaust kit, and we don't know where it goes.
Is it this pipe that goes up there? That looks like a total.
How the hell are we going to get to that? Yeah, there it is. Look, I can see, look up in here, you can see that bit on the bottom of the turbo.
That joint is here.
There's no way we're getting that out.
I made a grand error saying I think it would be done yesterday. The gods have smite me down. Said, you, have another day. Right, that is all 5 bolts off of that up pipe.
Right.
That is ready to sod off from underneath once the other bolts from underneath have come off.
Will that come out?
No, it's gonna have to go up. We're gonna have to, it's gonna have to go up and out, the pipe.
Up and out?
Won't come this way.
I
Unless,
don't think it can go up and out. The steering thing's in the way, I think.
that's what it's caught on. It would come off, it would come out otherwise.
Fugging, chugging, sugging, and fugging. I believe you also find that this here and that there is what makes Subaru noise sound like it does.
Oh, really?
Unequal length headers. Because if you make people put equal length headers in, and they just sound like a 4-cylinder.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How am I meant to do that then? F me. Hell. You balls.
This is a part that will gain us performance, so
yeah.
It's not like we can just forget it and move on.
I mean, if you look at that, even if you look at the size of that.
This is tiny, whereas the new pipe is much bigger.
That's never coming out.
No?
Not that way.
We removed everything so we could get it out, but it just wouldn't budge. The next easiest step was to get the turbo off so we could remove it that way. Unfortunately, that's not a 5-minute job.
Every time we work on this car, I don't like it again.
After all this better make at least 100 horsepower extra. If it doesn't, I'll just tell him to blow it up. I'll see more. Finally, after what felt like hours trying to get it out, we finally removed the turbo.
Turbo.
Congratulations, Mr. McIntyre. You've had a
Thanks, Richard.
So we started to make some progress. To lift the mood even more, we got a message from Scott.
We're the proud owners of an.
What?
Are we?
Yeah, I've just seen Scott's just said.
Oh, another project car.
Oh, that's going to be havoc. Richard, wait till you see this.
Is it hideous?
It's good, it's great, but it's smashed to bits.
Surprisingly, the new up pipe fit like a glove, so we refitted the turbo and carried on with the rest of the exhaust.
The Lords have shone down upon us that it fits. Give us strength, O Lord. Give me oil in my Subaru. Keep it burning.
Unfortunately, just like the downpipe, none of the exhaust hangers were where they should have been.
That's never going on that hanger, is it? There's no way that rubber stretches that far, right?
No. Right, I think we're going to end up chopping that thing off, you know. I mean, why not? I've chopped just about everything else off on the exhaust.
Callum's up there finishing off the downpipe. Me and Richard have just offered up this centre pipe. And basically, it fits okay, but this exhaust bracket doesn't line up with the one that was original. You know, there's no way that it would stretch that far. So Richard is going to cut it off, weld it on where it should be. I really thought the back box would fit, but just like the rest of the exhaust, it didn't match up with the original hangers. So we had to take it back off so Richard could do some more welding. Unfortunately, I then decided to have a minor medical emergency.
Ow.
What?
Yeah, you've got blood.
I almost knocked myself out.
You all right?
Yeah.
Well, plaster?
Ow.
Oh yeah. Go clean yourself up because that's like the actual cut.
Oh.
We are literally putting our lives on the line here in the name of performance. If that doesn't make you subscribe right now, then I don't know what will.
Once that drama was finished, Richard finished up with the last bit of the exhaust so we could do a double check in the engine bay before our first startup.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. No celebrations yet. Here we go. We're ready.
Go on. Roughly.
Something just wasn't right. There was a trail of oil behind the car and a definite exhaust blow.
Does sound like there's a blow. So our grand finale has turned into a bit of a problem actually. Richard pulled it out with a little bit of a trail of oil, took it up, and there's an obvious blow as well. You can hear it from the front, like there.
Obvious what, sorry?
A blow. So there's a gap somewhere, and it's not all of it. It's not coming out of that end. It's coming out here.
Me getting out before the end of the exhaust.
Could be another result of this cheap exhaust. There's a little bit of smoke coming from down here.
Oh yeah.
Richard just said it's everywhere.
Hell.
It was late and the mood was low. We pushed it back to the workshop to do a quick diagnosis.
What we have, I don't think we've missed it. I think it's purely because it's just easy to miss. The oil drain on the bottom of the turbo, we've got it on the turbo, but it's not connected at the bottom, so all it's doing is just pissing straight out the bottom. There's noise coming from the front end that should be coming out the back end,
Richard just said it could be a turbo off job.
which is what we've just done. And it took us all day.
I think that's straight out of the turbo.
Somewhere on the turbo.
What are you guys thinking?
We're going to need to call it. It's been 2 very long days.
We left the Subaru in the capable hands of Richard, and after a week, we were finally ready to get to a dyno.
So when we left you, we were at Richard's in a bit of a sticky spot. So what we did was we left it with Richard.
So we had a massive exhaust leak, which it turns out the exhaust wasn't clamped on the turbo quite right. And then we had a massive oil leak, which was my fault actually. I put the turbo back on and the oil drain wasn't connected. And now we are here at Surrey Rolling Road. Well, see how much power we can get. What's our target?
280 would be nice. So we're not having the Subaru mapped by just anyone. We're having it mapped by Duncan from Race Dynamics, who specialises and only maps Subarus, right?
Correct, yeah.
Duncan definitely knows a thing or two about these cars, and he reckoned that we hadn't been extreme enough with our weight saving.
There's a lot more weight in there you can lose. Like on a really cold day, if you get under there with a chisel, like it's here,
Oh, the like, yeah.
Oh, the
over
sounder.
the tunnel. Yeah, but there's 25 kilos of that in there.
Ah,
Might have to do weight reduction V2.
yeah.
We can get it into the 1100s.
You get another 100 kilos out of that, easy.
While the Subaru was being set up on the dyno, we had a quick look at Duncan's Forester STI.
That is cool.
That is cool. Just how the Subaru starts up and then die. And that is the end. Subaru has blown up. Yeah,
There is a real possibility it could blow up on there.
Yeah.
We put any thought of it blowing up aside and got ready to watch Duncan work his magic.
Oh, what? Thank you.
It's great. I might wear these home. The exhaust isn't bad in that car. It's the spare parts.
It's not a Subaru unless it's got half a Subaru in the boot.
Yeah.
We'll make some noise. Yep, 278. Take that.
302 horsepower. That's not bad. For reference, 196. It's a much nicer curve than the original one as well. The other one like flattened out here, whereas this one just keeps going. Nice.
Somehow our battered old Subaru that sounded like a tractor just a week ago had cracked the 300 horsepower mark, and Duncan wasn't finished there.
So this is the torque figure. So I think that's like 325, 320. So 304 horsepower, 320, 325 torque. It's pretty good. Considerable upgrade from what we had before. While we had Duncan with us, he offered us a bit of advice.
Well, that works all right.
Yeah. It starts with a 3.
Starts with a 3, which is really unusual for these.
Really?
Yeah.
Have we got a good one?
It's
Maybe.
probably only 10 Blob IWXs that have made over 300 in my year's mapping. How much of the budget have you got left?
I think we're at roughly like £3,500. That knock to the head earlier must have scrambled my brain, because after these power mods, that actually leaves us with just under £6,000.
And 5 seconds to go.
You think that's easy?
Easy.
I think we've got
like the
2 or
confidence.
3 of those seconds now in that power we've just put in it.
I mean, I'm confident. I'll do it myself.
If you had 3.5 grand, what would you do with it?
Bigger turbo.
Okay.
And an intercooler.
And an intercooler, front mount intercooler.
Okay.
I've got customers running over 500 horsepower on that gearbox.
Really?
Right, get it back on the dyno.
Should we take it on the road?
I think we should take it for a quick spin. Yeah. Can't wait.
Go on then.
In the next episode, we're going back to Kerbo to see if we can finally beat the Lamborghini. If we don't, I guess we'll have to get that big turbo ordered and book in another visit to Duncan.
That is a lot better.
I think we're confident that's sufficient power for now. So if you want to watch the rest of this series, you can watch that. No, actually,
It's there.
It's here. And yeah, we need to take this to Cobra next, I think.
Yeah.